aspects each, becoming 9. These are the 9 revealed aspects. The 4 concealed are the upper 3. The endless, the restriction, the hard spark, and with the addition of the sparks that emerged, 4. Now it is stated, Shaitan are the Chesed, Gevurah, and Tiferet of the sparks. We find Arak Anpin is made from the same aforementioned aspects. Eitz Chaim, Book 3, Second Gate, Chapter 5, 4 principles. The 4th principle, the hairs of the head of the Kether of Arak Anpin, within which the Chesed of Atik Yomen, the Ancient of Days, is clothed, are Chesed. The spark of Chesed receives 3 aspects, Hitador, which become the Kether, Chokmah, and Bina of the Partsuf, called Arak Anpin. This corresponds Chesed, and is seen in the verse, the Lord is slow to anger, Arak Anpin, and abundant in Chesed. It is stated in the Zohar, the hairs are all of equal length, and also there is a hair that goes this way and that way. The hairs of Chesed correspond to the 72-letter name Yed-He-Biv-He, which has a value of 72. Its aspects come from the 72 name of Chesed, as identified by Exodus 14:19, found in Book 9. Technical Gate 24, the Da'at of Arak Anpin, corresponding to the mouth of the Ancient One. Da'at is Arak. The Da'at of Arak is formed from the Da'at of each aspect of the Sepher. It shines with the 10 names of God to each Sephirot, with each name descending dew or tal to the lower worlds. Together they are called Shemen, oil, dew. Dew is tal, Tet is 9, and Lamed is 30. 39 times 10 is 390. The same value as Shemen. This is the oil that drips from the beard roots of the worlds. Technical Gate 25, Gevurah of Arak Anpin. The second spark, Gevurah, Tet, received 3 aspects from the upper 3 heads. They are the Chesed, Gevurah, and Tiferet of Arak Anpin, respectively. The hairs in this place are marked by the 63 name, Yed-He-Vav-He, which has a value of Din, signifying Gevurah. There is a name of Ahiyah expanded to each of these that accompanies it as well as with each aspect. Those who are familiar with the secrets of the true wisdom will perceive and know the root is the 72 name of Gevurah, Exodus 14:20. Technical Gate 26. Tiferet of Arak Anpin. The spark Nun, which is Tiferet, received 3 aspects, and they are the Netzach, Hod, and Esod of Arak Anpin. The hairs that hang here is the secret of the 45 name, this being the secret of Adam, which is 45. This name alludes to Tiferet, as written, the beauty, Tiferet, of a man, Adam. The name of Hashem here is the 45 name, Yod Ha Vav Ha with all Alephs. The root of the hairs are the 72 name of Tiferet, Exodus 19:21. There's a tikkun at the top of each of these pages. On page 232, we can see the full beard. At the top, gate 27, the beard. Thus we see the 9 revealed aspects which form the part Suf, called Arach Anpin. The names of God that correspond to the hairs that hang in this place. Absolute is spelled this way, Berea, and then Yetzirah. Each of these hairs are 10 letters corresponding to the roots of the 10 sub-Sephirot in each aspect respectively. The 9 aspects are as follows: 1 hair this way and that way above the mouth, 2 hairs hand beneath the ears, 1 hair beneath the mouth, 2 hairs at the top of the jawline, and 3 hairs descend at the tip of the chin. Collectively, these are 9 aspects, and so too do we have these 9 aspects. This is the same with Isad, the reproductive organ. Thus the hairs are the same. At the end of this work, the 370 lights will be explained in detail, all of which are within the aspects of Arach Anpin, as stated in the Zohar. It spreads by 370 lights, etc. Book 17 states the upper face spreads through 3,700,000 worlds, etc. Let us return to the matters of the body. Take time to realize the 9 aspects in your own face. We are made in the image of the Ancient One. Seek to unite him with his honor and glory. On that day he and his name will be one. There's a tikkun on the next page. (236), gate 28, Abba and Ima. The Netzach and Hod of the Ancient of Days are the Partsufim called Abba and Ima respectively. In relation to Zeranpin, they are called the Hokmah and Bina of its Partsufim. Regarding this, we'll analyze these Partsufim from this context. Hokmah and Bina respectively are the top of the right and left pillars. This is flesh and bone. We will analyze this in depth, and then analyze the 32 paths of wisdom. The tree is split into 3 columns, right, left, and center respectively. Abba and Ima represent the right and left pillars in Hebrew, Abba father and Ima mother, and corresponds to Hokmah and Bina. Technical gate 29. Abba and Ima represents flesh and bone respectively. Right pillar is bone, which is white, and corresponds to the male, while the left pillar is flesh, corresponds to the female. We learn from this that every male produces white from their Esod, and every female produces red from their Esod or reproductive organ. This is alluded to in the verse, flesh to my flesh and bone to my bone. Take time to realize this and become aware of its secret in reality. Let us enter inner levels of the matter. Tikkun at the top of the page. We can see here the aspects demonstrated clearly. Now let us analyze the Partsufim themselves. Bina is 1 Sephirot lower than Hokmah in terms of its progression. This is the secret of the verse in Song of Songs. His left hand is under my head. His right hand embraces me. His right hand embraces me alludes to the right pillar, which is bone. Thus we learn that bone is embraced by the flesh, the left pillar. His left hand is under my head alludes to the left pillar, which flesh being under the head, Kether, Hokmah, and Bina of the Partsufim Abba. This shows that the white of the Partsuf Abba is the Shepa in this place. As such, we find that a woman produces red from her Esod, or reproductive organ, and from her breast white. The flow in this place being the secret of the flow of the right pillar, Abba, which is white. Take time to realize this concept and actualize it in conscious awareness. Let us further adorn the Holy One, blessed be He. from the part supreme of Ava, we find they are equal in relation to each other, as Hokmah and Bina are on the same level, as it were, in relation to Kether. Thus we find that the male part supreme is even on a level, as it were. And we also find that out of the reproductive organ or isad of the male is produced the wife. Take time and realize this secret of awe and reality. Take time to notice this secret with your consciousness. Analyze carefully what was just stated. Take 10 minutes of your day to investigate these claims and notice each male produces white, each woman produces red. There's a tikkun on the following page as well. Technical gate 30 to 32 paths of wisdom. Sepher Yetzirah states 32 paths of wisdom. This is derived from the last letter of the Torah, Lamed 30, and the first letter of the Torah, Beit 2. What remains of the first word is Rashit of Barashit, and it is written, Yeret Hashem Rashit Hokmah. Awe of Hashem is the beginning of wisdom. Thus the sages decreed that there were 32 paths to wisdom. They correspond to the 10 Sephirot and the 22 interconnection paths. There are 3 vertical lines, and rather horizontal, which are the 3 mother letters, 7 double letters for the 7 vertical lines, and 12 elementals, which are the 12 diagonal lines. Respectively, they are the 32 paths. Now let us analyze this principle in more depth. Technical gate 31 to 32 paths. Chokmah, which is in the secret of bone, can now be interpreted as 32 bones. Thus, the circular aspect are the 32 teeth found in the mouth, and the linear aspect correspond to the 32 bones of the spine. This is further advanced in that each section of the spine has 2 protrusions, creating 64 in total, which is the value of Din, alluding to the left pillar. We find in the secret of his right hand embraces me that the teeth are embraced by the flesh of the gums, the spine is embraced by the flesh of the muscles. Take time to understand this concept well and perceive. The 33rd bone of the spine is the secret of the Luz bone, which the sages say each person will be brought back from. Technical gate 32, Tipper. We will briefly discuss the secrets of Tipper. The name of God that corresponds to Tiferet is Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh, and this alludes to the chest, specifically the heart. As written regarding Noah and the flood, it grieved Hashem at his heart, which alludes to the connection of Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh and the heart. We find that the heart has 4 chambers in the image of the 4 letters of Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh. Above the chest rests the high priest's breastplate, of which contains 12 names of 12 tribes. Regarding this, we find the heart of 4 chambers is surrounded by 12 ribs. For those who are of the wisdom, they were begotten while with Laban, which is Hokmah, bone, and wife. Technical gate 33, the 6 letters. There are 6 letters containing 1 tagine. They are the letters Beit, Dalet, Kof, Yod, Ket, He, and they are in the secret of the stones places to the right and left shoulders, respectively. These being the 6 fronts and backs of these vessels. Corresponding to these 6 are the 6 segments of the body: head, right arm, torso, right leg, left leg, and reproductive organ. We'll also discuss the secret of these 6 regarding the lungs. Take time to analyze the tikkunim. There's one on page 249. On 250, technical gate 34, the lungs. Zohar states there is a certain serpent in the middle of the bars that flies through the air, having 6 wings, and of which is blind. The secret of this serpent is the tongue. of which is the reason it is blind. Its 6 wings are the lobes of the lungs, and it flies through the air, because the lungs fill with air by which the voice is projected by the tongue. This is expressed in Book 7, Likutei HaMoran. Page 251 has a tikkun. 252, one at the top of the page. Gate 34, Wisdom in Understanding. We have learned that Bina, understanding, is flesh, and Chokmah, wisdom, is bone. Thus, we can learn a new tikkun regarding the verse wisdom in understanding, and have understanding in wisdom, can be read as wisdom, bone, in understanding, flesh, which bone is embraced by flesh, and similarly, understanding, flesh, and wisdom, bone, which refers to flesh and bone, mainly marrow. Also, red and white blood cells. Take time to realize this tikkun. Realize the bone in flesh and the flesh in bone. 253 and 254 have tikkuns. And now we're at technical gate 35, Zeranpin. The Partsufim of Zeranpin are formed by Israel Saba and Israel Tabuna. To be precise, they are the vessels and essence of his Partsufim, respectively, corresponding to the essence of his Chokmah and Bina. The Netzach, Hod, and Esod of any Partsufim is the Chokmah, Bina, and Da'at of the preceding Partsufim. We find that Israel Saba and Tabuna, lower 3, are the Chokmah, Bina, and Da'at of Zeranpin. We find that Malchut of this Partsufim emerged from this place in connection with his Da'at. This is the Partsufim otherwise known as Leah, corresponds to Jerusalem, which is Bina of Zur. We find that emerging from Tifereth are 2 aspects, one from Israel Saba and one from Tabuna. From Israel Saba emerges a Partsuf called Yaakov, which extends to the Okab heel. We also find Rachel, which emerges from the aspect remaining in Tabuna. Collectively, they are the aspects of Zeranpin, which we find is disconnected from Malchut. Apples from the orchard, conveyance of layers, higher wisdom. Tikkun on 256. Technical gate 36, the serpent. We return to an earlier established tikkun, the connection between Malchut and Kether, the bruising of the head and the wounding of the heel. We established how these fronts and backs of the tree refer to the body and the face respectively. Bearing this in mind, we will analyze the secret of the serpent. First, let's grasp the secret of the serpent being cast on its belly to eat the dust. Malchut. There's a tikkun here at the bottom of the page. In the top of the following, we find after this likeness are the animals, as they are all sideways in the secret of the serpent's Partsufim. We find they have a tree of the face in relation to the tree of their body. However, they are, as it were, cast on the belly. We find that the head of the serpent is bruised, Kether, Chokmah, and Bina. So we find that bone emerges from these 3 points of the head. This is because the animals are in the secret of Bina, and after the same Partsufim they are formed. Now I'll declare to you another secret. The feet are sideways, and the hands linear in the same secret. In example, side Partsufim, as demonstrated. Take time to see this. This is the secret of the 22 letters. All of this is in the secret of the 22 letters, and analyzing the connection of their progression. And now my feet tread upon the serpent's head, and I know why they are sideways. Lest are you the reader in this world and in the world to come. From the wounding of the head, we find the shefa, or flow of emanation here, or the flow of Abba, which is bone, as has previously been established. It's been stated that animals will be side partsufim and protrude bone from the 3 points of the head and or alongside the back. This is because they are formed after the likeness of this serpent, as has been established. It's important to understand we are discussing constructs and not morally good or evil concepts, which are commonly associated with such things. It is forbidden to render literal translations. Page 37, the lion crouches. With this, we can understand now the bruised head, Kether, Hokmah, and Bina. Thus, the serpent begins at Kased, as established earlier regarding the first 3 sparks. Furthermore, Kased is represented by the lion, as written, they all had a face of a lion to the right side. Thus we can understand why the serpent is likened to a lion, crouching at the door, Malkut. With this understanding, we can now unlock the secret of why the ancient mystery schools used a lion-headed snake to depict Zeranpin. And we are at the gates of time on 265. We'll stop here for the night. Glory to Hashem. Thank you for joining me to study.